What's good, YouTube? Welcome to my channel. This is going to be my first video. I go by the name How About a Cup of Joe. I'm here to bring you some sports betting picks, as well as some analysts, some rants, because I always got something to say about this sports shit. But primarily, let's go make some money together, right? Tail along. If you don't want to tail, that's okay. Like it if you like it. Comment if you want to. I welcome all the trolls as well. As you can see, I'm still welcoming the trolls. Last night was a long night. Even though it didn't hurt as much as the past, if I'm keeping it funky. I remember the Lee Evans drop. I remember the TJ Houshmandzadeh drop. Damn, Ravens. A lot of our games and big moments end with drops. But it is okay. Because as long as there's a Lamar, there's a way, right? Well, anyway, as I mentioned, I'm here to share some picks with you guys and a little bit of analysis so we can actually see what I'm looking at and see where I'm coming from. Picks that I have today are going to have a little bit of recency bias attached to it, but you can see where I'm coming from. I'm going to start out in the Eagles versus the Commanders game. A lot of people feel the Commanders shouldn't be here, but I think personally, from a matchup perspective, they're exactly where they should be. They played the two teams that have no business playing a team that's good with the RPO, and then the Eagles are going to have their fucking hands full. That's a definite. And with that in mind, first pick from this game is going to be Dyami Brown, who all of a sudden has become the go-to target for Jaden Daniels in that offense. And his hands seem to be some of the most reliable that we've seen in quite some time. Definitely Dyami Brown is somebody that we can look at. His line opened up at 40.5 yards, 40 and a half. And I'm taking the over on that simply because he had quite a coming out party since the playoffs began against the Buccaneers and then against the Lions, definitely against the Lions. Not a lot of receptions, but definitely there for the big plays, someone who Jaden Daniels can rely on and who he's going to go to. And he definitely shown that he's going to take a hit and still bring that ball down. So I do like him for over 40 and a half yards for this coming Sunday. My second pick from that game is going to be Dallas Goedert. Dallas Goedert is a hurt quarterback's best friend, like most tight ends are. But what we did see is that the past few tight ends were able to get off against the Commanders. Sam Laporta had a pretty solid game. He also caught a touchdown for Detroit. And just 2 weeks ago, Cade Otton resurfaced, hitting his over. I haven't seen that man hit his over in a little bit. You know, his line was set at 28 and a half. He ended up with 32 yards. I'll take that as positivity. It's not what I'm asking for out of Goddard. I'm asking for 40-plus yards because it is plus money. That plus money play is definitely a good thing because you win a plus money play and you lose in minus 110, minus 125, you're still going to end up positive on the day, and you got to look at it that way. With these plays, I'm going a half a unit each. I guess full disclosure, my unit is $100. You can make your unit whatever you feel comfortable losing. That's real talk. Some people look at it as 10% of the bankroll, which I do like that logic as well. But other people look at it as if you're comfortable spending it, might as well wager it. So I'm going a half unit on both of these plays individually. And that's it for that game right now. I am leaning on Jalen Hurts rushing yards, but he did take a beating. They're probably going to be handing that ball off a little bit more. I think I'll lean towards the touchdown more than anything else, that 28 and a half. Well, that's currently where it stands. I don't know if that's going to be the best thing for somebody that's limping around. Jalen's getting beat up back there, and it's just happening. You know, I can't do anything about that. Definitely probably looking towards a nice quarterback touchdown scheme this weekend. I could see 3 out of the 4. I could see all 4 quarterbacks scoring this weekend. Might be worth a little parlay. Parlays like to throw 0.1 of a unit. 0.1? Or 10% of a unit? I don't know. Whatever you want to call that. 0.1 units towards a parlay. Even less, 0.005. That would be amazing. Because that'll still hit the way it needs to hit. But either way, let's move on to the Bills versus the Chiefs. That Bills versus Chiefs game, I wish it was the Ravens versus the Chiefs. Forgive me for that moment. I needed a moment. That Bills versus Chiefs game should be just as good as advertised. Even though I don't expect as much scoring as some people may expect. I think that the Bills are going to come out and play just as aggressively as they did against the Ravens because they'll have to. And I think the Chiefs are going to systematically dink and dunk the way they've been doing the entire season. I do think that the Bills-Ravens game was our Super Bowl preview. And I did always think that the winner of that game, once it was scheduled, was your proverbial Super Bowl winner. That's just how I feel. I think the Patty era is definitely far from over, but I don't think that they've played well enough to be there in the end this year. I just genuinely don't think so. However, with that in mind, I got my eyes on Travis Kelce to go over 6.5 receptions. I did not play it yet. I will probably play it based on what the odds are this morning. Haven't checked this morning. Last night, they were pretty good. They opened up at about -114. I actually like that play because I think Kelce versus the Bills, that's just someone you got to go to. It is what it is there. I also think that tight ends in general against the Bills may be a good thing. Last night, even though Mark Andrews, did make 3 key mistakes, you can forgive him for that. Isaiah Likely and Mark Andrews tore that Bills defense up. It is what it is. They both had some really good games, and Mark Andrews is probably 2 different decisions away from 2 touchdowns, and we can live with that one. Mark Andrews is definitely a stud, and Kelce is probably a few yards better than Mark Andrews. You can argue that. Definitely cut from the same cloth, but Kelsey's definitely the prototype for it. Andrews type, even though they're basically the same age. Shit. Correct me if I'm wrong, somebody. I'm leaning towards that. Haven't made a play on, as I mentioned. What I do have a play on, however, is Xavier Worthy. I'm taking Xavier Worthy for 60-plus yards. What I do know about that Bills defense now personally is that the middle of the field could be a thing for them. I also know that the Chiefs like to get Worthy into space. They like screens. They'll even throw a little shovel pass here and there to get him going. Those shovel passes count as passes, which is a good thing. He'd probably be coming out of the backfield, but he may have some space. And even though that Bills defense is very fast with the pursuit and they may be able to catch up to him, I think we got an opportunity for Worthy to actually get off. I took that 60-plus yards at +146 over on FanDuel. I think that's going to be a really solid play. I think it's going to be a sweaty play, in all honesty. The better play may be the receptions, but I think that the Bills have some holes in the defense that speed can exploit. And clearly, you can also beat them over the top. But tail if you like. I do have a parlay that I'm going to throw up a little bit later for you guys. 10-leg parlay. That's slightly ridiculous, but hey, it might hit. I don't really like playing mini parlays. I'm not going to play mini parlays. I might only put it together 3 for this weekend. Most of these plays are going to be straight plays. Let's dink and dunk our way to being rich, right? Hey, other than that, you guys have a nice day. I hope you had your cup of joe this morning. If not, you're welcome.